Yes, and were you able? This is Miss Antoinette Reed, and I'm going to allow her to make her own introduction because she does it so well.
All right, hello everyone. I am currently a 35-year veteran in the field of education. My professional experiences include sixth grade teacher. I taught communication skills and math for 11 years. Following that, I was an elementary reading specialist for 8 years. That was in Chesapeake, Virginia. And then I returned home, and I became an assistant principal for about 10 years at a middle school. And then I had about 2 years where I had the pleasure of being an elementary school principal. And now currently I'm working the district office, and I'm a director of student services.
That is an amazing accomplishment. I personally want to thank you, Antoinette. I want to thank you for all the service that you have provided for our children, working with our families, providing direct services, and the interest and the passion to want our children to do their best academically and socially. I know that you've had to deal with more than academics. You've had to deal with children on emotional levels, dealing with families with emotional levels, dealing with family dysfunctions. And again, I salute to you. I salute you because I can't think of the most important career that our community needs than an educator directly in the educational system. So the video that we just saw really was speaking towards the great opportunity that parents like myself today have in having more control over our children's education during the COVID pandemic. What do you think about that?
Well, I know that it's more important now than ever, because of the fact, with the world being so competitive now and and so global, there are just so many deterrents out here. Um, and along with that, there are a lot of opportunities, but at the same time, there are also quite a number of obstacles. But one of the things, forming that partnership, strengthening that partnership with home and school, because it is very much needed. A lot of kids, and these are kids that are non-performing in school, do not see the value of education. And unfortunately, in this day of time, many of the children of those parents, they don't see the value in education either. So it's becoming a vicious cycle.
I know for myself as a parent of a child that has quote unquote behavior issues. This and being told for many years that my child has special needs. and is inducted into special education, due not because he can't learn, but because he has behaviors that's directed for my child to heart disease. And what we found when he was young is that he was very impulsive and his attention span was short. And so it was hard to educate a young man with attention deficit when he's not interested in what he's learning. Right. So over the years, we went through a lot of turmoil with him in school. I've gone through educators telling me, or test scores telling me that my child is performing below standard levels. And looking at him today, back then, raising my children, I had to send them to school and I had to go to work. The only control I really had is when I got a phone call or when I got home from work and it was time to do homework together with my children and to ensuring that they did the work. Now, me right now, I think this is a perfect opportunity for parents to get involved with what your children are learning. I have been able to work with my son during this pandemic with his communication skills. I had to push him to get beyond answering questions with yes or no. I'm actually pushing him to ask questions when he doesn't understand. I'm teaching him the value of emailing. I'm teaching him the value of asking the right questions. I'm basically pushing him to participate in class and teaching him the skills of saying, I don't understand. Can you go over it again? Or can I get extra help at a different time? But I got lost at this point. I understood this point, but can you go over it again? What are your thoughts? I mean, that's my thoughts about the COVID and the virtual learning. This has been great because I'm sitting, as I'm home working at the kitchen table, he's home and he's at the kitchen table and I'm listening to his classroom interaction. I'm listening to the lesson so that I can also be of service in regards into making sure that not only does he do the work, but ensuring that he understands the work that was taught. How are your parents dealing with it?
Well, we got, there are some parents that are, and we have some parents that aren't. You have some that are really entrusting their kids, especially those, as you mentioned, have to work, those who have to work early before their children get up to actually log on. They tell their kids that make sure you get up, or they may call them to make sure that they're woke and 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 tell them to log in. But you got some kids that will not, follow through if no one is there. One thing that I can say that the pandemic has done for many parents, it has given them an opportunity to really see their child as a student.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times, seeing your child as a child, and they're only going to do but so much at home, because they know we as parents, if we say jump, you better be asking how high. But there's only but so much that you can do in a school when it comes to discipline. So now as an educator, or even as a parent, listening to some of my friends. Now, most of my friends they have grandchildren now. So, but it's funny to hear them say when they're when they're looking at the kids now that they're having to try to get them to do schoolwork, and even the kids are trying to be resistant. And so my thing is, I oftentimes tell them, think about it. How now you know what teachers go through when they have 20 some kids in a classroom, and they may have about 5 to 10 like your baby. So I think this pandemic has opened the eyes. More parents are showing an appreciation of what teachers do, and that's a good thing. But one thing I do want to emphasize too, that I think in the also that has become of this, there are some parents who say, "Oh, I'm now having to homeschool my child." Remote learning, virtual learning is not the same as homeschool. When you are homeschooling your child is not officially enrolled in anybody's school. When you homeschool, you're given a number, you're given a curriculum. So I do want parents to know, even though it might feel like that, because you're the one that's uh, really taking on more of the responsibility of holding your child accountable for logging in to do their lessons. But that's not homeschool. And parents, believe it or not, what pretty much what you're doing in terms of holding your child accountable, holding your children accountable, being compliant, doing what you need to do, follow expectations. This is something that schools ask or expect of parents anyway. We do expect it, just like you expect from us as educators to provide your child with an equitable, quality education.
And what do you say to those parents who are at home with a 7th, 8th grade level reading or mathematics, who did not complete school, who it's not they don't want to help their child, they don't know how to help them at home with the work itself? What do you say to those parents?
Well, to those parents, and it's funny that you asked that question, because I just posted a video clip on Twitter that I manage, because as a director of student services, I'm also over the parent engagement department, for the district. And I posted something on Twitter one day this past week about how you still can be active and be a full participant, even if you don't understand your child's work. So that kind of goes back to what I would say. Even though you might not can do the work, because even with me, I have 3 degrees, and I was a teacher. But once my daughter, when she was in public school, once she got beyond high school, and especially when it came to her math, she took chemistry. I never took chemistry. So I could not help her with those subjects. So I'm saying that to say this: whether you finished high school or not, you still can become a full-fledged participant in helping your child learn. How can you help? Well, there are a couple of things. It's not a matter of there being a great number of things, but there are a couple of things. One, contact the school, Namely, district has a director of student services who could also assist with you. Find out what resources are available. Two, visit your school district's website, because a lot of times they have resources right there. I know I have a lot of resources under my webpage for the Family and Community Resource Center that are have a lot of free interactive websites to help kids. But find out what resources are available. If they are taking chemistry, you don't know a thing about chemistry, then there are certain websites, like for instance, the Khan Academy, KHAN Academy.com. Free resource. All you got to do is type in the skill or the concept, and it has a video tutorial that comes up, and then it provides an opportunity for your child to practice. Okay, the other thing that you can do is to have a conversation with your child's teacher. Find out what is expected of your child and how you can help, whatever those expectations are. Something as simple but yet is very major. If the principal says, parents, your child needs to log in by 8:30 every morning, make sure your child understands that you better be logged in by 8:30 each morning, whether I'm here or not. Because when I get home, I expect you to show me what you've done for the day. I might not understand all of it. Can't tell you if it's right or wrong, but I want to see, show me proof that you've been on this computer, logged into your work X number of days. If this is X number of hours, if this is not gonna give me the validation that I need, and if I suspect that you're not, well, whether I suspect it or not, what's wrong with you contacting the teacher at least once a week or every other week? Is Antoinette logging in like she should? Is she fully participating in your in Zoom class meetings? Is she participating when you all have the breakout sessions, small group? This is how you can help parents, whether you have a second grade education or a post-high school education. And like I tell some parents, my grandparents only got to elementary school on both sides. Second, third grade education. I think my paternal grandmother got to 7th or 8th grade. But the thing was, they stressed the importance of having an education, and they did not tolerate you doing otherwise, doing anything that was going to enable you to get that quality education. So that's how you can help.
You know, one of the most beautiful tools they've come out with over the years, like out here in New York City, it was called Pupil Path. Out here in Georgia, it's called Infinite Campus. And I'm able to log in. I can tell the attendance, the test grade, the quiz grade, homework assignment, was it completed and submitted? Was it not submitted? And that's my proof right there. So, because my son will tell me he did it all day long. And I love my boy Elijah, but I can't trust his word that he actually did it. Right? Then we'll be in the middle of the semester, the end of the semester, and then I look and find he did nothing. He said he did it, but he did nothing. And now he has to scramble like he did in March at the end of the school year to get it all done. And I'm saying to him, hey, do you not understand what's going on here? This is the information age of Aquarius. That you have You have information at your fingertips. Failure is no room for failure around here, not in 2020. Like anything they ask you for, you should be able to, if they ask you a question, you should be able to give them an answer. You can Google it, Siri it, you can go to a book, you can download it, you can go to journals. There's nothing, there is no question that you can't answer, that you can't find an answer to. So failure is not an option around here, son, especially when you home. I mean, when did Christopher Columbus discover America? I don't know. 1492, something like that. I don't know how I know that. But there we go. So my thing with students is, if you have to, even if you're cheating, you're still giving up answers. There's no reason. They're getting out of school at 1:30. So you have a whole day to complete any work. They're really only giving in the 10th grade out here assignments twice a week. They got one day a week where it's just do work. You don't have to log into class. It's just a free day to get any work done you haven't been able to get done. To be able to get work done, that this is also a day where you can get extra help from your instructors, right? So we do have tools at our hands that we can assist with ensuring that the children are engaged into the curriculum.